All right, we're going to take a look back at what brought on 2025, what were some good points, what was some bad. We hope you enjoy it. We hope you like your show. Let me see now. I got to come on now. What we're doing here. Let's reboot. It didn't show up like I wanted. Let's do this again. Come on. I go live. Go live. That's what went away. All right, my background. Had to have my background right. All right, so let's get started. Started with the big decision of 2024 going to the Democrat convention. Let's go.
Welcome the Democratic nominee for president, Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
To make a decision.
It is time to get up.
Get up.
This will still be a tight race.
We're not going back.
We need you to beat Donald Trump.
Let's send Kamala Harris and Tim to the White House.
You got it, man.
We're not going back. Yeah. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Now, say, we're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back.
Donald Trump is an unserious man.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes.
Do you want to spend the next 4 years talking about crowd size? We're not going back. Now.
Who's gonna tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
We know that Donald Trump would sell this country for $1.
Donald Trump rants about law and order as if he wasn't a convicted criminal running against a prosecutor.
This uncircumcised Philistine.
Who does he think he is? Hey, everybody get your hands up. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Now, say, we're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back.
Okay, let's get to business. I accept your nomination. I promise to be a president for all Americans.
Even if we wouldn't make those same choices for ourselves, we've got a golden rule. Mind your own damn business.
Let's fight for it. Let's get out there. Let's vote for it. And together, let us write the next great chapter. Don't just sit around and complain. Do something.
Yeah!
Do something about it. Do something. If they lie about her, and they will, we've got to do something.
Everybody get your hands up. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Now, say, we're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going
Now listen, if you have not subscribed to YouTube channel, do it right.
Oh my goodness. All right, now it's moving on to Big Donald.
And it will continue to be reduced. 100% of our new jobs are in the private sector. So this is for the last.
So Donald is talking about how he had downsized the administration, the administrative state, thank God. And by doing it, so the job market took a hit, the numbers, because there's more opportunities for those that were prior administrative state players to find a job in civilian world. That's what he's talking
Number
about.
of months. Think of that. 100%. Are you shocked to hear that? That's the way to make America great again. What do you think, right? It's the only way. 100% of new jobs are in the private sector. And I could reduce unemployment to 2%, 1%, or practically zero by just hiring people into the federal government, even though those jobs are not necessary, which is what we had before. We had millions and millions of people having jobs that they never even showed up. So I wish that the media would report that the 4.5% is an amazing number. And again, if they don't report it, I guess maybe I'll just let some people go into the federal workforce. It'll look really wonderful. And what we're doing is the only way you can do it to make a country great. You can't have the government jobs. You have to have the private sector jobs. And these are among the biggest hires of private sector. So we have reduced the federal workforce by tremendous hundreds of thousands of people. And that reflects in unemployment, but that will be used up very quickly. And we've 100% of the new jobs, which, by the way, it's a record-setting number of jobs.
So we'll come back to US President Donald Trump when we know more about his announcement. We believe he's going to talk about...
All right, moving on. Let's go to the next one.
5 best chair exercises that burn belly fat and side fat like a crazy. Exercise 1. Seated leg clap. Seated.
This one I not want to go to. Let's see.
Just to clarify something you posted on Truth Social last night, you urged House Republicans to vote in favor of this Epstein release bill they're going to vote on tomorrow. I just want to be super clear on your position. Do you want to see that pass the Senate? Would you sign that bill if it gets to your desk?
I do want to. Here's what I want. We have nothing to do with that I've done on pricing, on affordability, because we brought prices way down, but they're going way lower, on energy, on ending 8 wars and another one coming pretty soon, I believe. We've done a great job. And I
would like to see the evidence. What I'm saying.
Again, by the Epstein files, yes, I want them out. Yes, I want them released with least amount of redaction as possible. However, the Democrats had it for 4 years under Joe Biden, under the auto pen. They're blowing it up for different reasons, but I'm glad things are coming out. The pictures are coming out, and you see the billionaire donors. You see the CIA and Mossad linked to Jeffrey, what's his name? Epstein. So this is important. CNN is the mouthpiece of the DNC. So, of course, they are hollering as if they can get things done. But Donald Trump, for me, he fumbled. And this is life. You're not going to have a perfect president. That's the problem with some people on the right. They want a perfect president. They want a perfect administration. You're not going to get it, guys and gals. But what you can get is a better play on some issues. And finally, good. The pressure stayed on. We're getting the releases. Of course, we got redactions of what they say are the victims. And they're supposed to be looking into it. So we'll see if this is true or not. And how can we, move forward with this?
You think after 10 years of public life, you wouldn't know it already?
No, I don't. No, that's exactly the point.
Oh, my goodness.
Scott,
this is an IQ test. Don't fail it. Come on, man.
Scott,
10 years Donald Trump has been in public life.
That's embarrassing.
Scott, it is an IQ test. I mean, for 10 years, we haven't heard any names. So you really think that no one's involved?
No, obviously Larry Summers was involved, Stacey Plaskett was involved. There's all kinds of people involved with Jeffrey Epstein.
If someone...
A few moments later.
Just real quick, I just want to bring it back to something that just happened.
When they're losing, they will bring up the race card. So this is what he's going to do. The guy with the afro.
Happened. I feel like I just heard Scott call into question this black man's intelligence with the IQ test.
That's what
I feel like I heard that. And so I just want to say something. This is what
it sounded
like.
You want to make it racial, go ahead, but it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I think that...
By the way, we know each other and we're friends. I know this man. He's a smart guy, and we're having a debate. We're having a debate. Don't make it into so. We don't even know each other, but we do.
With the presumption of innocence that is never afforded to us, right? This is the same guy.
Again, I'm not going to go through this, the whole timeline, but when they are losing, when their backs against the wall, all they have, the Democratic Party and their grifters, is the race card. Oh, you insulted me. Stand up, be a man. Okay? Stand up, be a man. Everything, fire back with some hard-hitting question. Fire back with some evidence. Fire back, but don't, ooh, I'm a victim because he says my friend needs a IQ test, and that's only because he's black.
That fact alone is enough for us to ask questions about it. It's a disqualifying factor for leadership. So I just don't know why you're so fervent right now, saying that I know for a fact he has nothing. Can we see the files and make that?
One, Bill Clinton. Barack Obama, no, because he possibly didn't like girls as much. But Barack Obama, take out Barack Obama, you have Bill Clinton, you have Joe Biden, who Kamala Harris calls racist, who fought against busing because he didn't want his kids mixing with those kids. When it's on their side, they're blind. So they come at you with this highfalutin, I'm above everything mentality and attitude, when in truth, they're liars. They're the shenanigans that goes on behind the scenes. They will do anything and everything to win.
That decision? Scott, exactly the point.
Oh, my goodness. This is an IQ test. Don't fail it. Come on, man.
I feel like I just heard Scott call into question this black man's intelligence with the IQ test.
That's
I feel like I heard that. And so I just want to say something.
Come on. You're going to have to give him CPR.
No, I can't even look that. No, for God's sakes. Oh, you didn't even whine him or dine him, Doc.
Come on.
Oh, Doc,
Come
Doc,
on.
do something.
I got no pulse.
John.
Lisa, not now. I'm trying to save somebody here.
Honey.
Hey, Lisa, please.
I mean, I get it.
I don't believe you people.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
All right. Now, I don't know if I'm going to go.
When it comes to muscle gain, most...
Get off of that one. All right. There we go.
Musk's 2018 CEO pay package from Tesla, worth some $56 billion when invested, must be restored. The Delaware Supreme Court has just ruled, which is a fantastic piece of news if you're a Tesla investor. In case you're not familiar, feels like a billion years ago, there was this giant case where the Delaware court rescinded the pay package, the 2018 Elon Musk pay package, in this very infamous case out of Delaware, where the judge basically said, hey, is Elon Musk getting paid too much money? I don't think he deserves this much money, even though the shareholders voted twice to implement that pay package. The judge said no. But now it went up to the Delaware Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, hey, this is actually not right. It's not lawful. So we're going to re-implement the actual pay package, the original one that was instituted in the state of Delaware. And then the lawyers that were asking for billions of dollars in stock compensation, you're not going to get that much. They're getting some. Don't get me wrong here. And it's still unfortunate they're getting paid some money. Yep. But the Supreme Court said that this wasn't actually correct. Let me give you a summary of the actual document. There's a giant document in here that was posted by Sawyer Merritt from the actual ruling, but I'm going to give you a summary here. While the court acknowledged potential issues with how the pay plan was originally approved, it ultimately ruled that canceling the deal years after Musk had already performed the work was inequitable and legally improper. So here's the background. The 2018 pay plan, Tesla stockholders approved a massive equity plan for Musk consisting of 12 tranches of stock options to receive the pay. Musk had to hit aggressive milestones, including growing Tesla's market value to $650 billion. Stockholders.
So they set milestones. Musk, you got to grow this to $650 billion. Musk, if you want this package, do this. The man performed. Then the courts, liberals, come in, they get sued, and then they come in and say, you don't deserve this. You give me a goalpost. The people that I'm working for say, hey, I'll give you a bonus if you do this. And then the courts, so that's when you get the, the Democrat socialism at work.
Sued, claiming Musk used his influence to force the board into granting him excessive pay. And the lower court ruling, the Court of Chancery originally agreed with the stockholder, finding the process, quote unquote, unfair and ordering rescission, which means the total cancellation of the plan. Now,
could the company reach those goals without Musk? That's not for the court to decide. He's the CEO. He built the company. Do you think he's going to have some undue influence? Sure. He probably know him. He probably helped get him elected. But it's his company.
Reason why the Supreme Court reversed the decision, it was focused on the remedy rather than the debate over Musk's control. So you can't unscramble the eggs. The rescission is supposed to return everyone to their original position. The court ruled this was impossible because Musk had already spent 6 years of effort and met all the milestones required by the contract, which shareholders voted on twice. Existing wealth isn't quote unquote pay. The lower court argued Musk didn't need the 2018 pay package because his existing Tesla stock made him billions. The Supreme Court disagreed.
Wow. That is a court looking back and say, hey, because you're rich, you don't need this. Wow.
Stating his personal stock gains were not a substitute for the specific quote-unquote bargain for compensation promise in the 2018 deal. And then the burden of proof. The lower court blamed Tesla for not suggesting a quote-unquote fairer middle ground pay amount. The Supreme Court ruled it was actually the plaintiff's job to prove what a fair alternative would be.
Right. Here we go in. The court allowed themselves to be nitpicked by a plaintiff when you come up with no alternative. What is fair? All right. But the court comes in, may have been talking to the lawyers on the other side, may have been influenced by the plaintiff. When the Supreme Court of Delaware comes in and say, stop, hold up, wait a minute.
Not the companies. And so the final outcome here is that the pay plan is reinstated. Elon Musk keeps the 2018 stock option grant. There's going to be nominal damages because the plaintiff proved a technical breach of duty, but no quote-unquote fair alternative remedy was established. The court awarded the plaintiff just $1.
$1.
This is basically like, if I unscramble the legalese, it's basically saying Tesla didn't go by the book to make sure that Elon got approval of his compensation package, the actual compensation package. Administratively, there were a couple gaps, but he still put it forth. Everyone thought it was crazy. Stockholders voted on it overwhelmingly twice, and he achieved the milestones, and Tesla stock exploded, and he would have deserved to get paid because the Tesla shareholders actually approved the comp package, if that makes any sense. For attorney's fees, the plaintiff lawyers who originally sought billions in Tesla stock as fees were instead awarded a cash payment based on their actual hours worked.
Thank you. They was going in to steal. The plaintiff attorneys were going in to rob. They're robber barons. They're going in to steal something they had nothing to do with implementing. The man did his job. He met the milestones. Now you're going to come around because you got your pinstripe suit, steal something that you have no reason to. But that's the way lawyers do. It's a saying. A robber can, rob a freight train, but lawyers will steal the whole railroad. And that's what they're trying to do. It is lawyers or something else.
Using the Lodestar method. And so I asked how much did the lawyers get paid? It's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $54 million.
They get $54 million for losing.
Instead of the literal billions of dollars.
But that is a good thing for Tesla and the others. They don't get the billions. 54.5 million, which is chump change to them.
They were asking for, and that's going to go through a process. So this is actually a very, 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 very big deal for multiple reasons. Number one, this removes a giant overhang on the Tesla story that has been there for multiple years, where a rogue judge in Delaware basically decided to be democracy. Like, she decided to be the rule.
She wanted to be the big dog. She decided, and that's another reason why Tesla moved. And I'm glad, in a way, I'm glad she did it. Moving out, gutting that area of blue state anti-democracy is what we need to get them down into the red states. You see more companies coming down south. It's poison up there with the cost of living, the rules, and all the nonsense that going into a blue state. By them, California, New York, Illinois, constantly people are coming down here. And there's still movement back and forth. People go up there, they don't really know. They go up there for family, whatever, a new job. I have turned down, and I'm looking. I have turned down jobs in California because I look at it, yeah, they're going to pay you a lot. However, what you have to deal with, you know, I've been to California. The place is a mess. So things to consider is more than money when you're trying to get ahead. Don't get me wrong. Money counts because I need all I can get. But if I can't walk out and not step in human poop and everything, is it really worth it? So consider all the details, consider all the options before you make these steps.
Setter for the state and started making insane decisions like this one. This started causing a giant flight away from Delaware from businesses, Tesla and a bunch of other ones. I believe Coinbase moved recently, and a bunch of other companies started leaving the state.
Yes.
Because you can't have a rogue judge just making up things as she goes.
Yes.
Right? And so
Zohran Mamdani is going to be the real estate king of Florida and Texas and other areas. Zohran Mamdani is implementing his promises next month. We will see how that goes. There are those that cannot run, and those that choose not to run, but those that can, you have to make up your mind, because even the ones in and this is the part that I have a problem with. You voted for it, but you don't want it. Oh, not for me. I voted for my emotions, my feelings. I want people to be helped, but I want you to take my money. Martha's Vineyard. Oh, we're sovereign, city area, and we have the right to say what we want. We want to make this a sanctuary city, but don't send them here. Oh my God. Call out the National Guard.
So what that's going to do is, number one, it's going to probably restore some level of balance again in Delaware, some level of removal of these crazy judges, hopefully, in these crazy decisions, which is going to encourage businesses to stay or come back to that state. Delaware has been known to be one of the most, if not the most consistent place to do business in, because the laws were very predictable, and they did favor businesses in a lot of different cases. But from a business perspective, it was predictable and you knew what you were going to get. When that original Judge McCormick ruled on Elon Musk's original compact package, this was an unprecedented breach from my perspective of democracy, of law. It just made absolutely no sense. And so it's very good to see this actually happen in Delaware. But yeah, I wanted to make sure I get this in front of you so y'all are caught up on the news. This is gigantic news right before the weekend too. So if you're a Tesla investor, you're probably beside yourself. And so yeah, I hope this was informative and helpful. Thank you very much. Bye.
Farzad, I guess that's how you pronounce his name. Good channel. I'll be watching it. All right. So here's another good one. Trace Tainment. I've always watched this show.
Today's video, so please make sure that you stay all the way till the end. Thank you to everyone who's been subscribing, viewing, and donating to the channel. It really means a lot and helps the channel continue to grow. And if you want to donate and support the channel, all you have to do is click that link in my description box. It'll take you to my link tree where you can donate and support me personally. All I have to say is that some are just too far gone. It's going to be very hard for them to resonate well with the people if they do not care about the things that have been concerning the people. But anyways, take a listen to this.
And Quinnipiac poll says that congressional Democrats have a record low approval of 18%.
Wow.
And you come from a Republican side of the fence. What do you think about the Democrats deciding to bury this report?
Well, look, Dana, at its best,
crazy.
Party committees do a couple things. They build infrastructure, they raise money, they help their candidates, and they put their team on a position to win. At their worst, they do this, which is create unnecessary, needless, harmful headlines for the party and a distraction that frankly doesn't need to happen. But honestly, we don't need an autopsy to know what happened in 2024. We all have eyes. We all have ears. There were two things that happened. One, Joe Biden got elected, promising to move the country to the center, and he took it way to the left.
Yes.
Fez is right. You have to have a vision. Joe Biden said one thing, and he did something completely different. And the other thing that happened is the entire Democratic Party, the entire liberal ecosystem told us there was nothing to see, that Joe Biden was fit as a fiddle, that all was going right. And we've seen this week especially, all the harmful things that happen in this world, the things that a commander-in-chief has to be on the ball, someone who can deal with these things at a moment's notice. Joe Biden couldn't do it for 4 years. That promise, that trust is eroded with the American people.
What have I been telling you guys? We have not been getting the truth and transparency that we deserve over these last few years. We have been getting told one thing while another thing has been happening right in front of us. Like, look at the debate between former President Joe Biden and President Donald Trump. The people are questioning, how is former President Joe Biden's health? They were told everything's fine, everything's good, there is nothing to worry about. The debate happened and the people seem different. Then a lot of people start to lose trust because they're like, why are we just told this if this is happening? It's crazy.
They deal with that until they hit that.
But like it's been said before, I thank God in many ways that Joe Biden was elected. Now, we went through it all together, but Joe Biden was elected. That gave the poison pill to the Americans to say, are you crazy? When they promise he's going to be president of all America. Trump is the great divider. Then Trump comes in, after Obama definitely divided, racism. He divided the country. Then the DEI and the CRT comes in and all the things that the auto pen did to us. Then, so we saw this. We reacted to it. You had crazy Kamala, okay? The way she talked, the way she acted, could not. And I've talked to people, I love African Americans, but some of y'all sheltered. I'm talking to a coworker, and only reason she wasn't elected is because she was black, and he's black too. And I said, what? She couldn't answer a question. It don't matter if she could answer a question. See, they want to win an argument. They're set in the head. I said, why are we even talking? Why you even bring stuff up? We oppose. Well, we're on opposing sides. Nothing you can say, is going to affect me. So I started this strategy when I'm dealing with Democrats, especially when it comes up to Donald Trump. I let him talk, and then they say all this kind of stuff. Oh, he's bad. He's a rapist. He this, that, and other. I got YouTube and TikTok. Erase that word. But he's this, he's that. And then I say, okay, just give me one incident. Not hearsay. One incident. Well, he was charged with 92 counts. Okay. And what did he do? They can't come up with anything. You can fool a grand jury. You can fool a jury, especially when the judge is on the side of the prosecutor. But when the crime goes up before the appellate courts and the Supreme Court of that state, who are blue, and it fails, what have you then? What's up? What happened? When you go down to Georgia and the prosecutor, who thinks she's above the law, she's of that shade, she's sleeping with the head prosecutor, paying him what, 168 hours a week or some junk. It was crazy, a month or whatever it was, more than anybody else. He goes and takes her on trip after trip after trip, paying her back for paying him. Then she comes up with the lie and says, I told my son isn't, he's a Democrat. He thinks he's centrist. He's not. He's a Democrat. He sits on the fence and he says, and he does nothing about law enforcement. He does nothing about counter arguments. Because he's a Democrat, he says, I tell him, when you come up under that kind of scrutiny, it's not the same kind of relationship between the law. Like the IRS, you have to show what you did. She said she paid only in cash. Therefore, there's no receipts. Well, that's not going to stand before a Senate judiciary. They have different rules. That's not going to stand for an auditor. They don't understand. They don't want to know. They know more than I do. So that is what you're dealing with when you're dealing with Democrats. Don't get me wrong. Republicans, maybe I need to do a show just on how bad Republicans are, because I'm Republican because I hate the Democrats. and I do like sticking the needle in. I do. That's why I'm telling you what I'm doing. I was born a Democrat, as my mama said, but I grew up. I got an education. I realized them some socialist communists. I went to the military. I love my country. I can't be with them. Are you kidding me? Can't tell what difference between a boy and a girl? Hello, I'm a Christian. So I had to go. But it's not because I love the Republican Party, but I got to stand with something that stands for something. So, get off my soapbox, but that's the point I'm trying to make. We, as people, have to stand for something, or we're going to fall for anything. If you cannot look at a man with a beard and a dress, and he said, you better call me ma'am, then you can't realize that's about control. That's not about identity. He wants you to identify as a fool. Okay? So, moving on. Let's go back. Y'all gonna get me fired up.
That issue head on. They have broken their promise to the American public.
Yeah, I've been saying that whichever Democratic nominee wants to emerge in 2028, it will be somebody that finally gives the Heisman to the Biden team.
You got to.
I also want to get you to this because 2028, it's in
Listen
the
to
future,
this.
but you can kind of see it on the horizon. And there was a poll that said that AOC might just beat J.D. Vance. Watch her reaction.
Wow.
Do you think that you could beat J.D. Vance in a head-to-head race for president, as polling suggests, in 2028?
Listen, these polls, like 3 years out, are, they are what they are. But let the record show, I will stomp him.
I thought that was cute and funny, but it also is something that I think Bernie Sanders believes, Faz.
AOC has never taken corporate PAC money. She's a bold advocate for Medicare for all. She's one of the least wealthy members of Congress because she comes from a working class background. She's never had wealth in her family. And she has the integrity to take on people with wealth and power. For those reasons and more, I believe she would defeat J.D. Vance in 2028.
I would love to see it. I would actually pay to see it. Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comment section, because me personally, I think that some individuals are too far gone, and I think that certain things that they say and do just does not stick well with the people. But anyways, let me know how you guys feel about today's video in the comment section. That'll be a wrap for today's video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.
All right, moving to the next one here. All right, so
hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine.
So I'm staying in the current events. Now this is going to hit 2025 with the Boston pew pew and different things. Hopefully they don't say too much because TikTok is sensitive. But this is my first reaction to this video. So let's see what we got here.
Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and we've just gotten some insight into the motivation of the Brown University attacker, and it just proves Trump right again. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment.
One thing I want to point out that struck me is the liberals are crazy. Okay, so Brown University, you have the Free Palestine, protesters. So they tell Brown University before this incident with a pew pew, turn off your video cameras because the cops are going to come in and they don't want it to identify us or them. So turn them off. So don't know the full story. Brown may have turned some cameras off. So it made it harder to identify when their students got assaulted, if I can say that on TikTok. So that is something administration, you're focusing on the feelings of 0.01%. That's all your efforts. Because you want to feel good, you want to feel cool, and you want to have the right vibes. Where they could be setting you up, or just like the Chernobyl. You make one mistake, you go a little far, you make another mistake. There are safeguards for certain reasons. Keeping your cameras on is one of those reasons, so you can track down the perpetrator. It's only after the fact, but still help prevent others in the future from being harmed. So let's go.
Share and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. The tragedy at Brown University.
I'm going to speed up a little bit.
And people have been asking the question, why? What would drive somebody to this? Here's a guy, Portuguese national, right? Nobody's worried about Portugal. He's European, right? It's supposed to be everything that,
He's taken a long way.
Most of my life, I've heard these kind of things. People think that European immigrants are different than immigrants from someplace else. They're not. But many are not.
He's stretching this out long, I guess, and we move ahead. I might get to what I want to hear.
Deserve to have his name mentioned. And I think as reporters, as journalists, but more importantly, he hated the United States. This guy was legally here and still hated us. Thought it was a waste of time, thought it was a mistake to come here. But instead of going back,
exactly,
decided to do this. And then took his own life.
Police released the surveillance video of Neves Valente, and I don't know how close.
All right, so he had his spiel to go through. We all do, but I'm going to move back to this now. Let's get started. See what the news had to say.
This, and let me know what you think in the comments.
Two, at the other place the shooting occurred, so obviously that could be very significant. When police released the surveillance video of Neves Valente, and I don't know how closely you were following this story at that time, even Scott, and did it ever occur to you it could be him? And then as a separate point to that, now you look at it, is it recognizably the person who once was your friend?
So he looks nothing like he did when I knew him. But another thing I learned by talking with the FBI and remembering that the scene where he puts his hands behind his back and walk back and forth.
Yeah.
That's what he used to do when he was trying to think about something.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot.
Oh, so you recognize the gesture? Huh.
Yes.
And one final thing, Scott, just because you have had some new information here. It was the estrangement from his family. After he came to Brown, he reportedly became estranged from his family. Did he talk much to you about his family? Did you know anything about that?
No, I mean, no, I did not. More importantly, the thing I would add, which I think is the main motivation, at least for Brown, he thought he wasted his time by coming to the U.S.
Wow.
A lot of the news has been saying that, part of this was that he couldn't graduate and all that.
What?
He was bored because he knew more than any of us. He already should have had a PhD. And I don't know how much time I have, but there was a complicated physics book that physicists know when he was an undergraduate.
Okay. Can't graduate, can't get his PhD, but he stays around and he does this. People, there are options. I go through stuff. I'm going through stuff. You got to think through your actions. Move on. I paid a lot of money for my PhD. I'm not utilizing it right now. I'm not mad at anybody else other than myself. But I will do everything and anything. And family don't understand it. I will work myself till I'm tired than to be less than what I want to be. I'll put it that way. So what I'm saying is options are options. Make some of your own options. There are other things to do. I don't know his mentality or what he had. He could have helped others. Was it money? What was it? So don't fall into this, I'm a victim. That's Democrats, socialists problem. But they preach it so much. It's Brown University. Get past yourself. I learned this in the military, and I learned it from others. And it happened to be a white guy. So we was on a long run. Short story. Long run. It was a couple miles. It was ridiculous. We was carrying packs. Good 60 to 80 pounds. I was about to crash out. One of my sergeants ran up to me. I probably was a buck sergeant at the time, E4, and said, hey, do me a favor. Drop back and cheer on the other guys. I said, what? He said, Chuck, just trust me. Man, whatever. I liked him to a point, and he invested some effort in me, so I invested in, I fell back. Guess what? It was a ton of weight. By me focusing, come on, guy, put him up, pick him up, put him down, pick him up, put him down. I lost focus on my pain, and I transferred theirs. They got lifted up. They started looking at me. Thanks, Sarge. You helped me out on this run. I wasn't helping you. I was helping me by helping you. That's what I'm saying. So when you're down in the press or whatever you're doing, focus on, can I feed the homeless, the hungry, the homeless? Can I shelter the homeless? I mean, you don't have to bring them in your house. I'm just saying, what can I do? What program, what volunteer can I do to uplift somebody in my state? But if you focus on me, you will be like Cain versus Abel. That's all I want to say.
He solved every problem in this book, and most people can't solve them. I think that's a weird thing, but he hated Brown and he hated Providence.
Wow. It's fascinating because you're talking about a level of brilliance there as well. Look, Scott, Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Lots of new small details here that can make a difference, and thanks so much.
And there's a thing about intelligence. The higher or the lower, you can get unbalanced. It's a thing about being normal. And now it looks like my computer has frozen. Do this real quick.
Thanks for talking.
All right, you too. And we have an Outfront special report next on a little known yet.
All right. For whatever reason, it froze. So I won't get into this one. All right. Let's get into this now.
Welcome back, everyone, here to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Pace. Always great to be with you on this Friday evening as we continue to roll on.
It was last Friday.
What a night it was yesterday in New England as the manhunt for the suspected Brown University gunman is now over. On day 6 of the search, a tip led police to a New Hampshire storage facility more than 80 miles from campus, where they say they found the shooter dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Officials also linking that man to the killing of an MIT professor.
So Brown shooting, MIT.
Near Boston on Monday night. So for more on this big story, let's go out to Providence, Rhode Island, where Fox News' Kaylee Schuyler has been following this story and joins us with a breakdown of this wild day that happened yesterday.
Hey, Mike. Well, investigators say they were able to crack this case all thanks to a tip from a homeless man known only as John. And now a lot of people are also calling him a hero. He was a former Brown student who became suspicious of the shooter when he ran into him in the bathroom in the engineering building just hours before the shooting. So he decided to follow him outside.
Some people are more interested in finding out what others are doing. In this particular case, this person decided that he wanted to, and I'm glad he did.
The manhunt for Claudio Neves Valente is over. He's the man accused of killing 2 people at Brown University Saturday and an MIT professor on Monday. And here's a surveillance video that changed everything. The eventual tipster, John, back on Saturday, playing what he described as a game of cat and mouse with Neves Valente in a neighborhood near campus. He came forward after Providence police released this photo of him on Wednesday and said they wanted to talk.
And that person led us to the car, which led us to the name, which led us to the photographs of that individual renting the car.
The suspect is a 48-year-old Portuguese national. He studied physics at Brown 20-plus years ago as a grad student, but dropped out. Officials say he rented a car in Boston on December 1st and drove down to Providence. The car was seen in the area several times before last Saturday's deadly shooting, but the violence didn't end there. On Monday, police believe Neves Valente shot and killed an MIT professor in Brookline, Massachusetts.
Why?
He attended the same academic program as the MIT professor, Nuno Loureiro, in Portugal between 1995 and 2000.
Wow.
Investigators say Neves Valente was savvy and switched license plates on the rental car. But the tip that started with John finally led police to that rented Nissan outside the storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire.
It was found.
So you're intelligent, more intelligent than your peers, but your peers move up and they're foreigners. Some from the same area you came from, same colleges overseas, but yet you have resentment because they have made it and you didn't. See, again, you're focusing on yourself and they're using that victimhood instead of moving on. How can you help someone instead of what do people have to do for you to make you happy? That's my take.
Dead with a satchel with 2 firearms.
So the big question now is, what was the motive? Officials say both investigations are still active and they're searching for those answers as we speak. Mike?
Yeah, and Kaylee, I think a lot of people wanting to know, okay, does this a guy who saw something that wasn't right with the suspect, will he be getting the reward?
Hey, well, right now we haven't had that confirmed. I'm sure a lot of people sure are hoping so. And actually, Rhode Island's AG says he thinks he should get the reward, but nothing confirmed just yet.
Yeah, I mean, that is amazing to think like this person is just, you know, people watching, but finding something isn't right there and then taking all these notes and able to tell the police about everything.
Yeah, and that's what you heard at the top of my story there, the chief of police saying, he was just paying attention. He said before that soundbite that you heard, he said, it's just different personalities. He just happened to be kind of curious, and he thought something was suspicious with the shooter, so he decided to scope it out for himself. So only time will tell. Hopefully we'll hear something soon, but we do know that officials are pretty busy right now, still searching for some answers to a lot of questions.
All right, Kaylee Schuyler, thanks so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox. We always appreciate it with these updates out in Providence, Rhode Island. And this evening, we are getting some additional information here on this case. We are now just learning through the Associated Press that the suspect in the Brown University shooting and MIT professor's killing had been dead for 2 days when found. The autopsy has just determined there. So we wanted to pass.
So he was gone for 2 days. I'm not going to say nothing on that. Don't harm other people. That's all I'm going to say.
That along to you. I know there's so much interest here in this case. We are definitely going to be keeping an eye on it. Any more details, we will pass that along to you.
All right. So let's move this out of the way. Which one is this? It's not what I want. Might be gone through. Let's see. All right, this will be my last one. I think I'm gonna cut it now. I might do some more later, but let's go through this. Trump is he's still knocking down the W's.
Rising tension between the U.S. and Venezuela is escalating. American forces seizing yet another oil tanker today, making it the third vessel this month. Bloomberg now reporting the tanker was headed toward Venezuela. The specific location for the operation has not been revealed just yet, but this is the second ship.
Now, I do not know why he's doing it. Is it affecting drug imports? Yes, but also he's put the bounty on his head, $50 million. That with him going, if things could turn around and also be able to send the people back, that will help the American economy. A lot of things it's a ripple effect. So yes, I'm backing, personally what he's doing. Others could have did more, could have did different. He's always been, and a lot of people don't understand this, it's best to be on the offense than on your heels. He's keeping the world. He's going here, they're reacting, they're falling back, they're disorganized. Europeans fall in line. Greenland and different areas are falling in line because he's moving forward. He don't always tell us his strategies, but that being said, he's taking tankers. Now that upsets the flow. That upsets what's going on, and we see it, and we're like, what's really his motive? Oh, he's after the oil. No, he might be after, that the oil does count. However, you're disrupting the flow to China. So you're doing yourself. United States is doing itself some good. Is competing with Russia and all that sort of thing. And it's best to have an ally down south than an enemy, because that's a foothold for China or Russia, and also supposedly for Hezbollah and Iran. So if we can get him to get out of there, we will be doing ourselves some good. So let's continue.
In just 24 hours. On Saturday, a ship was docked in Venezuela prior to the Coast Guard's apprehension. Officials are claiming that the vessel is carrying oil and is subject to U.S. sanctions. Secretaries Hegseth and Nome both taking to social media to thank the U.S. Coast Guard for its involvement in the operation. News Nation's Hannah Brandt joins us live from our nation's capital. Hannah, what's the latest Latest on this third boat.
Well, Jessica, this is certainly an important update in this ongoing operation. Here's what we know. U.S. forces boarded the Bella 1 oil tanker near Venezuela today, according to Bloomberg's report. They're saying the vessel was among those sanctioned by the U.S. and was on its way to Venezuela to load. But as you noted, this is the second seizure just this weekend and the third this month. And these seizures really are part of the Trump administration's pressure campaign on Venezuela and on its leader, Nicolas Maduro. It was just days ago that President Trump first announced a blockade on all of the sanctioned oil tankers coming both in and out of the country. And then yesterday, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announced a new seizure. She shared a video of it. You can see it on your screen here. She says this shows U.S. Coast Guard and Defense Department forces stopping that oil tanker. This is a tanker called Centuries, and it was the second time the U.S. seized a vessel near Venezuela in just the past few weeks. It follows the December 10th.
Again, offensive. International waters, not breaching that yet. He still throws out the hint that we can go inland, that we can land boots on the ground. Now, is it CIA operatives? Is it the military? He doesn't classify. He doesn't bring it out. The opposition, of course, want all the information, but if it was Joe Biden, you hear, crickets. So it's oppositions are there for clarity at times. Sometimes it just your guy is winning. We got to make him look like a loser. It's just junk like that. But he's keeping them on their toes. He's pushing them back. He got them to the point where, it's going to affect the shipping in that area. Is going to affect things coming from and going to, and he's hitting the tankers. This is the big dollar tankers. So he's saying we got sanctions on them. So we got the legal cause to go in and take this. And as a public policy administration guy, I don't know, and I'm gonna look into it. I don't know all the legalese, but again, as a military person, you see offense. You hit them here. They weren't prepared, far as we know, and they're taking losses. The ships, they have done nothing on the offenses against the United States to the point to what can they do? Now, that's the thing. Now, say they got 100 or 10,000 or hire a member. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining in. In operatives in the United States, military age males. What are we doing? And that's the full press. When the Democrats go against it, and God forbid they put into operation some of these military age men on the American soil, the American people are going to go ballistic. You can't really blame Trump, but he is in power. They would be saying you're not doing enough now. So you're just going to ramp up what's going on. And it's lagging and dragging. Only thing Trump had to do is say, look, every move we make, the Democratic Party sues us. Every move we make, California has set aside, and they're bankrupt. California, New York, set aside millions of dollars in attorney's fees when they could be helping the millions of people on the street, American citizens. Priority. See their priority, understand their priority. It's not you, America. It is that new border block that they're imported and they want to stay. It helps them in Congress. It helps them gather funds from the federal government. It helps them in many ways. So that's what I'm saying. You have to look at what's really going on and understand Trump is on the offensive, and you got the Democrats on the defensive, along with Venezuela, Colombia, Europe, Russia. So we see this. Again, thanks for everybody for joining in.
Seizure of the skipper. That's the first seizure we know of in recent months. You can see the skipper has now moved closer to Texas. And in responding to some questions about whether that second tanker was even on the official U.S. list of sanctioned vessels, White House Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly claimed Centuries had sanctioned oil on board. She called it part of the Venezuelan shadow fleet used to traffic stolen oil and fund the narco-terrorist Maduro regime.
Wow.
Now, the Venezuelan government, though, disagrees. They argue the U.S. actions are criminal, and they say they're going to file legal complaints with the UN Security Council.
And
Jessica?
how are lawmakers reacting to all of this?
Well, we haven't seen a lot of reaction to these second and third seizures, but we've certainly heard concerns about the growing tension with Venezuela. Now, lawmakers right now are at home for their holiday recess. That's probably why they're a bit silent on these weekend seizures. They aren't here at the Capitol for us reporters to ask them about.
That's the beautiful. Another thing, you have the weekend data dump that lawyers do, legislators do, administration do. Okay, it's strategic. You do a data dump, say you're on a court case, you do a data dump with your friends at lawyers used to do it when I worked in the courthouse. They know the judge is leaving at 5 o'clock, so 4:45, they dump a bunch of petitions in the docket. Boom. They're going to get chewed out Monday, but they don't care because they're doing it for their client or they're doing it for strategy. The same thing. Making a move in this time and this place of the year and in the time and manner that they did it catches the Democrats off guard. They're home with their family. They don't want to be in front of the camera. It's not that major of an issue. They get back together whenever they do, and they can scream, or the ones that love the camera, do their own Zoom or whatever they're going to do. So that's to be considered. Again, strategy, the placement of time that is beautiful. Again, he got a team. I know I've heard so many, and like I said, I'm going to have to do some of the distractors against Trump on the right that nothing other than put up a gallow in Pennsylvania Avenue will appease them, and then that's not enough. So you can't really listen to them because that's the same thing on the far left side. They're rabid. They're borderline lunatics. They might have points. Don't get me wrong, but the application of their points is ridiculous. What I'm saying.
It, but I did talk to several senators when the skipper was seized a bit earlier this month, and that move caused a lot of alarm. Multiple lawmakers told me then they were pretty concerned that seizure brings the U.S. closer to war with Venezuela. A few told me they think President Trump should be coming to Congress about these things to ask for their approval and to certainly ask for approval if he decides to take any further military action inside of.
Well, that may be true. However, nevertheless, they allowed other presidents to do things, and he is still acting, in my opinion, within the law. I mean, you got lawyers on both sides. Say, oh, has he gone too far? It hasn't been adjudicated yet, and we know everything they do. They're taking this lawfare to the nth degree on everything he's doing. So with that being said, he goes ahead and jumps. It's like, sue me now, sue me later, but I done this and I'm going to take it through the process later. I'm going to do it now and ask for forgiveness later,
Venezuela, though President Trump has a bit of a different take. He argued just a couple of days ago he doesn't need congressional approval if he does want to move ahead with land strikes in Venezuela. So we're seeing a bit of an internal power struggle over this, Jessica.
Interesting. All right, Hannah Brandt, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and down.
All right, let's go. See another one here. Not that one. All right. See what Trump got to say.
I'm the journalist that broke the BBC bias scandal.
They defrauded the public.
It's a scandal that's now led Donald Trump to sue the national broadcaster for 10.
Now, this is getting a little personal with Trump. Trump has won several cases. They will settle. They will settle outside of court. Millions of dollars. Now he's up. He's going at the BBC for 10 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion. It's just, some change. So the thing being is that now the journalists are saying, oh, he's trying to silence us. He's trying to shut you up with your lies. Tell the truth. We all want the truth, but you manipulate and you twist and you spin. And he's calling you, he's another president, Bush, Cheney, vice president, whoever. None of them had the guts nor the gall to go against the system because they was part of the system. They played the game. They was all in these secret societies and all in this backroom drama. But this man is going up after the system. And as he go up after the system, it puts them in check, because after the breakup of the big news agencies, and now you got freelance everywhere, and you got they're, cable networks and different things that can say more than others without needing a license. Now you have to have some checks and you have to have some balance. So he's bringing a little balance back into this.
$1 billion. That's
in my opinion.
£7.4 billion. This 33-page lawsuit filed by Trump accuses the BBC of broadcasting a false, defamatory, deceptive, disparaging, inflammatory and malicious depiction of him in a 2021 Panorama documentary that spliced together 2 clips to make it seem.
And the thing is, all right, they haven't learned yet, and they're still going to do it. But as he goes after each one, after he stands up and goes after each one, it makes it better for all of us to know and to understand the truth. What is the truth? And can we handle it? Again, I'm still pushing for the Epstein files release with as much as possible without the redactions. But I'm still saying, hey, we got to push. And he's only one in the position with the money and the power to push back at these big agencies. It's a fifth column behind us. They're stabbing us in the back.
As though Trump was inciting the January the 6th Capitol riots. So what's next for the BBC? Well, they have 3 options. Option 1, kill the case entirely. There are good reasons for the BBC to think it has a strong chance of killing off the lawsuit before it gets off the ground. Not least the fact that the offending Panorama documentary, first exposed by The Telegraph, was not broadcast in the US.
Okay.
Mr. Trump also won the 2024 election, so the programme clearly had no material effect on the outcome. But Mr. Trump's team says the court does have jurisdiction because subscribers to the BBC's BritBox streaming service living in Florida watched the documentary.
This is why, for me, it's good to go around and grab a litany of different videos to capture what's out there. You don't have to go. Me growing up, there was only 3: ABC, NBC, CBS. Now you got these independents. We have so much. We have to filter through a lot of garbage, but it's so much of an opportunity to filter through and stay out of the bubble. Don't just, if you're Republican, Democrat, you still got to get out of the bubble. What I'm saying is go out there and look, listen, debate, argue with them. But find out what the truth. Some, again, they're locked in. You might as well talk to a brick wall. But it's there for you to find and consume.
Option 2, fight the case in court. There'll be plenty of people within the BBC who will believe the corporation should stand up to Mr. Trump and
Yeah.
see him in court,
Yeah.
especially given the relatively strong hand the broadcaster has on the legalities of the case. But this would be a high-stakes gamble for the BBC. Not only would it be hugely costly to fight the case, with the BBC facing massive legal bills, even if it wins, but a Trump v BBC show trial has the potential to be as reputationally damaging to the BBC as the Panorama documentary itself. By fighting the case, the BBC would be subject to the rules of disclosure
Yes,
that
sir.
are part of any legal process, meaning the Trump team would demand internal BBC communications relating to the president, such as emails between programme makers and BBC executives. Now, it's beyond doubt that lots of BBC employees find Mr. Trump repellent. So would the BBC be willing to run the risk of allowing Mr. Trump to see
What did they say behind the scenes that led up to the documentary? Cut this, slice that. Did they actually go in and incriminate themselves? What if they try to do a data dump like Hillary Clinton, swipe and wipe out this information? Will they get caught? Things that make you go,
staff say to each other about him? So that leaves option 3, settle. The most pragmatic solution for the BBC might be to settle the case by paying out-of-court damages to Mr. Trump. Not only would this ensure a swift resolution to a major headache for the BBC, it might also be the cheapest option and the one.
Now, I think it was CBS, MSNBC, different ones already paid out. This would be another W for the Don. The haters and protractors of Donald J. Trump do not want that to happen. Fight until the last bullet. However, if they don't, and Discovery makes it look worse, the heads have already rolled on this when the CEO and the different ones. So it is awesome to have some pushback. Is this going to be how the future goes? They make a lie. I mean, a blatant lie, and then the politician or the individual with status and money pushes back. It has been done before, you know. But by the president, sitting president of the United States, does that have? Because it's a state-owned publication, so that's the British government going after the sitting president, who has to negotiate treaties and different associations, give and take. Do they want that? Because the United States is a bigger partner. As the United States has said, it is rough for the UK to defend itself at this point in time. And with the onslaught of the jihadists in England, taking over cities, London and everything else, how long they going to be in NATO, and how long we going to cooperate with them anyway? Because they're starting to be overrun.
That would best protect its relationship with the White House. ABC News and CBS News have both settled cases brought by the president for between 11 million and 12 million pounds in the past 2 years, which is still a considerable amount of money, but it's just a fraction of what Mr. Trump would have sought in court. With the appointment of a new Director General, the BBC would have a chance to wipe the slate clean by paying Mr. Trump a smaller sum, blaming errors on the previous regime, and making the case to license fee payers that even an 8-figure payout was the least bad option.
8-figure.
Having admitted wrongdoing over the Panorama documentary, the BBC can't claim Mr. Trump has no right to launch his legal action. And so a peace offering of some sort seems like.
That's when I heard that. Tearing up the stuff. When I heard that, that's a lawyer's nightmare. That's a lawyer says, admit nothing, deny everything, whatever. I was like, who? I mean, I don't know. They did it. I don't know who advised it, but it was the right thing to do. Don't get me wrong. They're just, people don't do the right thing. We back to lawyers again. Lawyers are liars. Lying lawyers.
The bigger picture and the real end game for Mr. Trump is to force the BBC to treat him differently in the future by putting them on notice that future transgressions, in his eyes, will have consequences.
Yes. Woo! All right. Looks like another win, another W for the big Don. All right, let's move down here. What else we got? All right. This is going off a little different take here. Trying to say hi to people on TikTok who are dropping in.
Oh, you thought Diddy was bad? Well, he is. But you want to meet someone who's arguably worse? Vince McMahon. See, Vince McMahon had a problem. He's currently under federal...
Now, Vince McMahon, God help me, we all sinners. It's, saved by the grace of God. But when power and money go to your head, Diddy didn't do this. And Vince is still out. We might have to do a Diddy versus Vince McMahon video or something. Because that dude.
Federal investigation for...
But the thing is, all right.
Misconduct with many women.
Okay. Y'all did it. And y'all was of age. And you let this man do stuff to you for the money. Listen to me. Working at McDonald's, working at the car wash is better than having people do this to you. Going to Dubai and letting billionaires do this kind of stuff to you ain't worth the agony, ain't worth the disgrace. Stop it. Find Jesus.
For those of you that don't know, Vince McMahon is the former owner of the WWE wrestling stuff. Anyway, you want to hear something wild? Wrestling fans have always known he was an evil psychopath. Why? Because listen closely. He played a character in his own wrestling show so twisted and insane, it became harder and harder for people to think he's acting. For instance, the storyline that involved his daughter. Whatever you think I'm about to say, it's worse. His daughter's a character on the show as well. She plays his daughter. In fact, his whole family plays themselves. They go through many inappropriate things. Like at one point, her daughter and her son start palming her mom in front of millions of people. But I think the son just held the mom so she couldn't run away. And anyway, here's where things start to get wicked. In a wrestling promo video, his daughter says, "I've only said no to my father for 2 things. Wow. And one of them was he could not be the father of my child in the show." Focus, we not finished. Look at the time. She was married to a wrestler named Triple H in real life. They were having a kid. After they told her dad, Vince McMahon, "No, we're not participating in that story," Vince McMahon then asked, "What if it's your brother?" Her brother and her husband said, "No, Vince." Well, actually, her brother said, "Yeah, I get it. My sister's hot, but I had to turn her down." He actually said this. But he might have said this because, remember, I told you, this is for a wrestling promo. Meaning Vince McMahon put this on air. He put this on television. He wasn't hiding this. So imagine all the worst things he's done. In fact, you don't have to imagine it. Look in my comments and the wrestling fans will let you know. Anyway, now that you understand who he is as a person, the allegations are probably not that surprising anymore, right? But let's get wicked part 2. The allegations go on for decades. In fact, it's alleged that he's given $20 million total to women over the years. From allegedly forcing people, cover-ups, lip boxing his female wrestlers backstage. If they said no, he would fire them. To the case that brought this to everyone's attention in the first place. The traffic. Making someone do things with him and then all of his friends. It's the same thing Diddy's getting in trouble for. It's like the only thing a billionaire will actually get hunted down for. Because the feds don't play that. There's certain lines that can't be crossed. Imagine if you found out anyone in America owned a slave. You lose your mind. Well, making someone do this like you own them is considered to be a form of slavery. The case alleges that he gives this woman a job. He tells her, if you don't with me, you finna lose that job. Eventually she does, thinking it's gonna be a one-time thing. But then she notices that her position is a fake position. He just makes it up to keep her in the office whenever he wants to.
Wow.
For those of you saying, oh, she could have just left. Wisdom is chasing you, but you are faster. And I'm not gonna sit here and explain the human mind to you. Anyway, at this point he says, hey, you gotta start with all my other friends.
Wow.
No. And well, you know he didn't take that for an answer. She eventually does it. He gives her $3 million to stay quiet. But so many other women come out at the same time, and he has to give all of them so much money.
Wow.
His payments start to slow down. So the girls are like, we're snitching. The FBI comes out and says, wait, don't snitch yet. And that's how you know he is screwed. The FBI basically said, if you take his money, then you can't talk to us. And if you talk to us, he finito, word to Chief Keef. The women said, fine. And the FBI said, Vince said, why y'all laughing? They said, Vince, give us your phone. He said, no, I'm an American citizen. Y'all can, they said, we can do whatever we want. Because here's how things work. Same thing that happened to Diddy. The FBI watches you for years until they know you're so guilty that you will never escape. But when the evidence against you is so bad, they can get these things called subpoenas, meaning they could raid your house, take your phone, require you to give them documents. So Vince is forced to give them his phone, and some of the alleged texts got leaked, and oh, that boy going to jail. But the case is still technically ongoing, and it probably will be for a while. But let's just say I don't think he's getting out of this one.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm gonna cut it short. I got 8 viewers still here. Thanks for watching. I'll be back on in a few minutes. I hope you stay. It is what time it is? It is 4:04, about 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'll be back on with some more, hopefully entertaining and engaging information. Thanks for watching. God bless.